Assalamu alaikum. This is your computer science teacher, Sir Fawad Akhtar Ansari. We solved this problem in the previous class. The problem was to compute the fastest, slowest, and the average speed of 500 cars. And we used the for loop to perform the operation. In today's class, we are about to do the same computation, but we will make a program using while loop. So now let's start. I used the variable speed and data type as integer. Then I used the variable fastest and set as integer. And then I used slowest, count, total, and the average. These are all variables and the data type is integer. Now I used the variable fastest and initialized it with a 0. And I used the variable slowest and initialized it with the 100. The reason behind this initialization is that the program will compute the fastest and the slowest speed, but it requires some sort of calculation. So for the calculation, what it will do, it will compare our speed, whatever we input the speed, it will compare it with the fastest and it will compare it with the slowest. So there must be a difference between the slowest and the fastest speed. So that's why I use 100, or I can use 500, or I can use 200. It's up to me, means it's up to a programmer that which speed does he or she use to initialize in the slowest variable. Now let's begin the loop. I use the while loop. While count less than 5. So the count must reach to the 5. For the testing purpose, I used a digit 5. Originally, the question is about to calculate or compute the fastest, slowest, and the average speed with of 500 cars. But in this loop, for the testing purpose, I use 5 value. It means I will input 5 speeds, and then our program will compute the fastest, slowest, and the average speed of cars. Now, after that, I input the statement enter speed. Whatever I input the speed, console application will read that line and store in the speed variable. And then the speed, whatever the current speed would be, it will be stored in the total variable by adding up in the total value. By default, the total is 0. So it means if I input 2 or 10 or 20 or 100 or 150, it will be added in the total variable, right? Why we are doing this? Because we need the average. So for the average formula, we must know the total value. Next, the validation check. If the speed that we already input is greater than fastest, means greater than 0, then our system will replace the current value of fastest, right, with the speed. It means the 0 will be replaced by the current speed. What if the speed is slowest less than the slowest value, which is 100? Means if its speed variable is less than 100 or the slowest variable, then the 100 value will be replaced by the current speed. Now we close our conditional statement, and now count equals to count plus 1. It means that our loop will perform the same operation 5 times. So that's why it is increasing plus 1. It means the first time process will begin, and after the second time process will begin, and then the third time process will begin. So it will increase 1 plus 1 2, then 2 plus 1 3, then 3 plus 1 4, then 4 plus 1 5. So when it reaches 5, our loop will be shut down with the and while statement. Now it's time to do the computation. We use the average formula to find the average, and then we output the fastest, slowest, and the average speed, and the console.read key to terminate the program. Now it's time to test an application. Okay, now let's begin. What if I input speed 45, 90, 120, 130, and let's suppose 150? Then the fastest speed is 150 and the slowest is 45, and the average is 107. Okay, test is successful. Now we perform another test, test number 2. Okay, let's suppose I input value 68 and 130, 150, 180, 220, 230. So the smallest value is 68 and the fastest speed is 230 and average is 152. So our test 2 is also successful. Now we will meet in the next class. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.